Alright, hello everyone. We're back on Chemically Bonded. I believe this is going to be our second chapter, I guess, or second episode. I don't know what I'm going to name it. I try to think of the best thumbnails I could possibly, or like best titles I could possibly do. But yeah, I believe we are now starting to warm up to Kyoko. And we still don't know nothing about Naomi, but they have like a weird relationship they don't want to talk about. So I believe maybe today is when we're going to figure all that out. Let's go see. Rays of light from the afternoon sun seep through the windows. Across the room as the class lethargically relaxes, school day approaching its end. All that's left is one final class. And I can't be the only one here counting down the seconds until it's over. Most will head home, however in my case, I get to engross myself in the science club after school. It's something I can look forward to, at least. Kyoko too was still more than thrilled about having me go. Despite her asking yesterday, I wasn't surprised to find her more than keen to stop me before lunch to give me a quick reminder. Maybe after today, she'll ease up on it. We didn't actually do any real club activities. That, and I've only been there twice, counting our introduction. However, besides enjoying my time with Kyoko, I'm starting to feel as if I'm intending for another reason. Naomi Sato. No matter how much I might like her, or how well liked she is around the school, I still find it odd that anyone would have an issue with Kyoko. Being the school's idol just makes the scenario even more peculiar. Kyoko doesn't want me to get into it, but I can't find myself turning my back on her. It's strange.
Hey, Natsumi, what class is next?
We have chemistry, Chitose. How could you forget? You hate it, don't you?
New characters.
Don't remind me.
Chitose. Overhearing a conversation behind me, it seems as if I'm in for an interesting hour. Kyoko's probably ecstatic at the thought. That is, I think so. However, peering towards her tells me a different story. As she neatly packs away her bag to join the class in a trip to the lab, her expression remains pretty stoic. At least for someone as expressive as her. Thinking back, Kyoko did leave her experiment set up there yesterday. I wonder if she'll have to set it up again now that we'll be using the lab. I'll just have to ask her. I'd be pretty pissed if I had to set it up again because of the teacher dismantling it. My legs ache as I lift myself from my chair. I should probably make my way out too, now that everyone else is just about ready to leave. Walking out of the corridor, I'm welcomed by the sight of Kyoko apparently waiting for me to leave the class.
Come on, we're in the lab. We can't just stay behind once it's finished. Don't you want to do the experiment?
How are we supposed to do it if we're out of class first? Won't the teacher just take down what you did already yesterday?
It'll be fine. They let me do what I want for some reason.
You're weird. I guess because they don't. They might think her performance or test will drop. She's probably the one putting this school on an academic map.
Now, let's go.
Kyoko turns and walks ahead, trailing behind the rest of the class, making their way to the science lab. I swiftly follow behind, watching as her arms sway to and fro as she poodles her way beside me. Us now heading to class together. We enter the labs and instinctively I attempt to make my way to the back of the class, albeit stopped by Kyoko.
Hey!
Kyoko pulls against my sleeve. I almost dragged to the chair beside her right in front of the class. Her actions don't get unheeded as a few glances trace their way towards us. Again, given Kyoko's status around here, it'd be just as a surprise if they suddenly yanked a classmate to sit with her. Luckily enough, It just had to be me.
I don't like science.
What? Then why did you create a science club? Unexpectedly, she bellows out to me.
No, not science. Science, the class. Why would I like it when all they teach is kid stuff? Do I look like a kid to you?
Don't answer that. I mean, she is considerably shorter than me, and her face is pretty childlike. And that's not without considering her, well... No, you don't. I shouldn't get into it. However, her apathy for the subject isn't too surprising. Thinking about it, as the school's most intelligent student, I guess that being stuck behind with everyone else isn't fun. She feels this way about high school chemistry. Maybe she feels the same way with other subjects. Maybe the science club is the only place where she can enjoy herself. The lesson slowly continues, with Kyoko not sparing time to give her opinion on the class.
Why are we using cheap plastic pipettes? These should have volumetric ones.
Maybe the school's on a budget.
Why are we using paper pH indicators? It's not even accurate.
Don't ask me.
Why can't we use the Bunsen burners? What's the point of buying them if we can't even use them?
Yo, I low-key relate to this because my science class, we never use our Bunsen burners. Like, we just had them, but like in there on our tables, we never got a chance to use them ever. I don't think I ever got a chance to use them at all. She sure does have a thing against this class, it seems. I can relate to this one though, Kyoko, because we never use a Bunsen burners. Don't want to pay that gas bill. I think that's what it is. They probably don't want to light kids on fire either. Soon enough, however, Kyoko's dreams come true as the class finishes with us writing down our results for the experiment that we did together. Still, despite not enjoying it, Kyoko's work is as detailed and as neat as I'd imagine. If she's this into something she hates, then the club activities today should be interesting. I didn't go around. The two of us remain at the front of the class. People around us filter out through the door. Quickly, we find ourselves alone again in what is now the science club.
I'm glad that's over.
But I thought you liked science.
But that's basic stuff. It's like asking if you like cake and only giving a spoonful. And it's not even chocolate or strawberry. It's just plain cake. How could anyone call that good?
I like plain cake. I'm not sure I'm not sure I can entirely relate with her analogy, but I can see how she'd find it frustrating. I love cake. It's weird to think that I could probably ask her something and she'd give me the presumably correct answer. When did the Heian period start?
794.
I'll trust that she's right. I don't know the answer off the top of my head, but it's believable enough. Anyway, we should probably get started with this experiment. It's a phrase I didn't think I'd find myself saying, but the reaction of Kyoko's face is more than enough to prove it was the right thing.
Right.
Kyoko trots across the room to retrieve the delicate construction set aside by her teacher. I should probably help her out. It looks a bit too big for her to carry by herself. Let me give you a hand. I take hold of the clamp stance, which has previously found itself balanced upon a flask tucked in Kyoko's stomach. She was probably used to haphazardly handling the equipment, but I don't want to take this risk of any accident.
Thank you.
Carrying the mess of apparatus to a nearby desk, I leave Kyoko to finish arranging the setup as I stand back in awe. It's this sort of ambition I've been looking forward to seeing. Hajj delicately places each test tube in an appropriate rack, tracing each inch of the desk with her eyes to ensure everything's right. It's fascinating to think that someone could be so engrossed in this. But she is.
There. Done.
Proudly standing before her creation, Kyoko puffs her chest with pride, taking a step back to look at the work of art she's before her. So, what now?
Now's when the fun starts. We can finish from where we left off.
Reaching into her pocket, Kyoko pulls out a small, unmarked glass bottle, smiling at her own reflection as sunlight meets it. Are you sure that's safe? You aren't wearing any goggles either. Might not be a scientist, but I do have a sense of safety. Without any heat, Kyoko reaches her arm out towards the set up before her.
Don't worry, it will be fine. No, where were we?
In an instant, the sound of breaking glass reaches my ear, slowly followed by a puff of smoke filling the space around me. My body jolts back away from the scene before I realize Kyoko's still standing there. Are you alright? Kyoko emerges from the cloud, wafting around the smoke with her arms.
I'm fine. That wasn't supposed to happen.
You're not hurt, are you? The smoke clears, giving more definition to the expression of what woe coating the face before me.
No, but look.
The glass are probably destroyed. As I follow her gaze downwards, a pink stain stands out against the blue and white of her attire. Whatever shattered must have splashed her.
I can't go home like this.
She looks like she's ready to burst into tears. You don't have any spare change of clothes, do you? We didn't have gym class today, so I guess she's stuck as she is. Kyoko doesn't respond, causing me to look towards her, now tucking away in her school bag. Don't tell me.
Ta-da! You thought I wasn't prepared, didn't you?
Yo, she has a change of uniform in her bag. She's done this before. Holding up a pink shirt before me, complete with a little image of an atom drawn on top. Kyoko smiles as she nods towards the door.
I need to get changed.
Oh, right. Sorry. Taking my cue, I turn around and head out the corridor, leaving Kyoko to change out her school clothes. It's still kind of odd that she has casual clothes laying around in her bag. First it was a soda, now this? She sure is full of surprises. Yeah, her parents must not force her to be like super healthy. All those nerdy kids, like, they eat like carrots and stuff for lunch. I never had that when I was a kid. We didn't get lunch boxes. We had to eat the school lunch. Besides the ambient sound of club activities, the corridor is silent, still silent enough for me to hear Kyoko moving around inside. Stray dust dances around in the air as I wait for her to call me inside. Rather than a call, a panic yelp makes its way out from inside. Swiftly, my body turns and pushes the door open on instinct. Are you okay? As my vision adjusts to the light, Kyoko stands embarrassed by the evening sun, and nothing but her bra and panties. Oh my god, bro. Her figure is surprisingly athletic. Now that I can see it, she must train a lot outside of school. But she isn't doing science, that is. Her skin, too. Free from blemishes? As her mouth shines, a light sweat glistens from the sunlight behind her. What the fuck? As for her choice of fashion, small blue bows stand up upon her rather plain white underwear. Wait, why am I just standing here staring? Kyoko too remains frozen, still clutching her hands in her hair, with a bewildered look. One which soon changes to a pang of embarrassment, now that she realizes what I'm seeing. Bro, what? Kyoko...
What are you
Her face now reddened. It's just one of many sights laid out before me. Sorry. I guess she's okay after all, but I probably won't be after she's finished changing.
You can come back in.
Embarrassment still spilling from her voice, Kyoko calls out from inside the lab. Maybe it would be the best if I explain myself. Oh, she looks better casually. Now adorned in casual clothing, Kyoko's face faces me with the same sense of embarrassment coating her face. Cheeks still rosy as she averts her gaze away from mine. Sorry about that. I heard you scream and I thought you'd hurt yourself.
It's okay. Thanks for the concern. It's my fault for not being careful. I almost fell over.
Well, thankfully everything is okay. At least she is. The room is still a mess. Shards of broken glass lay on the floor, coated in whatever chemical was originally inside. Kyoko's eyes quickly follow mine downwards as we both stay still. Staring at this scene, it looks like we will be cleaning things together once again.
It was my fault. I'll clean it. You should go home.
Are you sure? I'd be happy to help. Kyoko, reverting her gaze towards me, shakes her head and sighs softly. She must feel bad about messing up her experiment. Picking up my bag, I leave her behind and I head towards the door. However, before leaving, there's one last thing I need to address. I will be coming tomorrow.
Oh, right.
Maybe the joke has lost its effect, but Kyoko seems to trust me enough now that she no longer needs to ask. For both of us, the Science Club has become a routine. Even after a short amount of time, I'm enjoying it enough to stay here. Kyoko too seems to be enjoying herself. That in itself makes me happy. Departing with a wave, I'm making my way through the corridor set in my journey home. The sounds of club activity still strongly ambient throughout the grounds provides subtle distraction as my feet meet the ground, casting shadows in the evening sunlight. I can't help but smile. A slight breeze meets my face as I idle beneath the looming evening sky. Rustling my hair, I begin strolling across the school grounds. The scene before me is picturesque. It's a sight filled by the mild, usually unnoticed jitters of the world. Leaves swaying in the wind. Cars passing by on the road ahead and a lone girl lingering by the school gates. As she stands there, even so oblivious to the world around her. Perhaps her heart races as she waits for the ones she loves. Maybe she's just waiting for a few of her friends. Club members. Late to leave? Anyone who was in the club would have to wait around for them to finish. However, truth be told, I know exactly who this girl is. I can't help but admit I've been wanting to see her too. No, she's not waiting around for the love of her life. She isn't waiting for her friends either. This girl, heading towards me with a sharp glare, is a person I'm quite familiar with from the get-go. Naomi Sato. Feigning ignorance, albeit in a rather noticeable way, I turn my head back to ensure that she's not walking towards someone behind me. With an empty yard staring back to me, I know that's not the case.
I was waiting for you, idiot.
Of course I missed her rude and condescending voice. What do you want?
I thought I told you to stay away from Kyoko. Are all guys really this dumb?
Luckily for me, she's keen on following up with her threat before. That and insulting me all the while. Despite it, both of us have the same person on our mind, Kyoko. However, abhorrent she thinks I am, maybe I can talk some sense into her. To think that she's this fussed over Kyoko, there must be some reasoning behind that. What's your issue with Kyoko? Can you just leave her alone? I can't help but raise my voice. Talking to her calmly would be harder than I thought, given my perceptions. I can't go as far as I'm accusing her of bullying Kyoko, but defending a girl I now consider my friend is a natural thing I should do. A week ago, I wouldn't have imagined myself in a situation like this. The feelings I had then have long since fleeted. For once, I can consider myself to have a place here, within a science club, even without knowing where the place is in relation to the world around me. I can't just stand by and accept this.
I don't have an issue with her. You wouldn't understand.
As Naomi begins to speak, I return her expression as melancholy with a pensive one of my own.
You think there's something going on between us, don't you?
She's smarter than she looks.
You wouldn't be wrong, but it's not what you think.
They're dating?
Then again, I doubt if you can think.
Hey! It's like she's trying to piss me off and quell my anger at the same time. Whether I can believe what she's saying, I don't know. I've solidified my stance enough to not trust her words that easily.
Clearly you've gotten yourself involved into this now. You want to know the truth, right?
By that, you're saying you're willing to tell me?
Of course I am, dumbass! Otherwise, you'd just think I'm bullying Kyoko or something.
With all the insults, it doesn't make her case any more believable. So, what is it?
It's hard to explain. If you want to know, meet me here tomorrow after I've had some time to think. But you'd have to skip the science club for that, wouldn't you?
Standing there with a smug grin plastered across her face, I can't help but dislike her just a little more than I already do. Disregarding the insult and rudeness, she does seem to be acting somewhat sincerely. Given that I object, she probably won't tell me again. Maybe hearing her out wouldn't be a waste of time. On the other hand, abandoning Kyoko slightly like that doesn't make my situation any better. And upsetting her would just make me feel bad. Ah, damn, we gotta find out. Ah, fuck. Ugh, this is gonna be rough. You know what? Agree. Looking at me, awaiting my response, Naomi's eyes make contact with mine. Their stern look tells me that she doesn't exactly plan to give me a chance like this again. There must be something she wants to say. Leaving Kyoko alone is just a fact that I'll have to put up with if I want an answer to the thoughts I have within me. I'm sure she'll understand if I come up with a reasonable excuse. Passing the opportunity to see the story from Naomi's perspective isn't something I like to do. Given that she's willing to talk. Finding out what her issue with Kyoko are, her issues with Kyoko are is my priority. Even if I don't particularly like her attitude. Fine. If it's not what I think, you must have had a reason to stop me like this.
I'm glad you understand.
From sternness to serenity, Naomi's expression changes to a more welcoming one. Something which looks trustworthy at least.
Somebody needs to.
What?
Anyway, I'll be waiting here again tomorrow. I'll be skipping training too, so don't feel too bad.
Since she's the team captain, I don't think anyone can berate her for skipping.
I don't want you to back out on this.
The qualms of leaving Kyoko behind still linger in my mind, but I guess I've made my choice. The issue of Naomi's involvement with her has been bugging me the last few days. To have her openly decide to tell me, even after strangling me in the corridor, means that it's been bugging her too. The thoughts of her bullying Kyoko seems to be less founded when reflecting on her actions. If it were the case, she wouldn't give me second thought. Perhaps she can explain herself at all, after all. But it could just be that I'm in over my head. I should have realized it long ago.
Anyway, I'll be going now.
I'm tired of seeing you, is what I expected her to say. Alas, Naomi departs with nothing but a small, yet significant wave. The evening sky glows above as the sun begins to fall. A canopy above the mild spring air blows against my face. Whether my decision was right, I'll have to find out tomorrow. But the guilt is still there.
Hey, what are you still doing here?
A faint yet cheerful voice makes itself distinct behind me as I remain still in the schoolyard. I must have still been standing for a while. Turning to face her, Kyoko's usually chirpy expression shines in the evening sunlight as the wind rustles her silky flowing hair. I just felt a bit queasy and wanted a short rest.
Are you okay? It's been about 15 minutes.
I should be fine. Ending my sentences with a smile, she curls her lips into one of reassurance.
Don't overdo yourself. You have to make it in tomorrow, right?
That's right. Her words make me reflect on my choices, which still fill me with doubt. Standing here with a bright smile across her face, Kyoko is oblivious to my involvement in the situation around her. Sooner or later, the truth's gonna matter will be made manifest as our friendship continues. It's hard not to believe that Kyoko's too must be feeling it inside her. Her relation to Naomi is too apparent to ignore. My role in it though is unclear, but I can't help but feel as if I'm now a part of it.
It's getting pretty late.
She's not wrong, but acknowledging the time is just an easier thing than directly suggesting we should go. For a quarter of an hour, I've just been standing here facing the issues surrounding the two of us.
What are you doing just standing there? Come on.
Kyoko's already trotted along ahead during my inner monologuing. I can't leave a happy smile like that waiting. I'm coming, jeez. Trailing along behind her, we reached the main gates together, thus fixing the time for our departures. The day itself has been enjoyable, in more ways than one. I'll see you tomorrow, Kyoko.
Goodbye. Have a great evening.
I'm not planning on doing much, but her warmth doesn't fall on deaf ears. With a mutual set of smiles and parting waves, we head home beneath the evening sunlight in opposite directions. Another day is finished. I'll have to think about it later. Swing the door open, I enter my room. A mild breeze wafts through the window, rustling around the loose papers strewn across my desk. Without a care, I sling my bag onto the bed beside me, opting to take a seat at my desk once again. After quite an eventful day, it's safe to say a rest like this is well deserved. But it's not like I don't have any work to do. When Naomi's demands and Kyoko's, well...
What are you...
Sorry. From the outside, Kyoko didn't seem like she had much shape to her. But after seeing her like that... Besides that, the Science Club itself was rather enjoyable. It's certainly a change from what I was used to. Finding something to take the interest in has distracted me from my own uncertainties. Still, with Naomi on my case, maybe there's a lot more of being involved with Kyoko than I thought. I did decide to go with her, But it's a shame that in order to quell my desire to find out what's going on between them, I have to leave Kyoko behind on her own. The decision itself sits uneasy in my mind. I still can't decide if it was the right thing to do. Even if it's as simple as excusing myself for the day. The feeling of leaving to go with Naomi leaves an odd feeling in my gut. I chose to go with someone she doesn't want me to know about. Maybe it's not too late to change my mind. Gathering the scattered papers from around my desk, I feel that the time has come to at least try to get work done, even if I dislike it. The sounds of day life outside acting as a melodical backdrop to my own existence. It really isn't that special. Placing pen upon paper, the chimes of ringing reaches out from my phone, causing me slight alarm. I don't normally expect people to actually call me in the era of messaging and social media. Bring the phone closer, to no surprise, it's who calling culprit is. Honestly, it was fairly predictable. It's tempting to answer it, but honestly, she chose the worst time to call. I'm fairly busy right now. This work actually needs to be done. It's not like I don't want to speak to her, but I'm sure with her intellect, she's opted to do some work too. At least I think so. It's hard to gauge how much work she actually does, considering she seems to know about almost everything. No! No, 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 no! What are you doing? Oh, no! Can I go back? Can I go back? Okay, let's go and accept the call. I meant to accept it. Sorry.
Hello.
Hey. My response, rather apathetic, contrasts her own usual bright attitude. I wonder what she wants.
Did you enjoy the club today?
Kyoko's question, a rather simple one, to answer normally feels a bit wrong to answer today. Given the situation she'd found herself in earlier, being overly enthusiastic about it might give her the wrong idea. On the other hand, I didn't enjoy it. It was both upset her and be lied to. I don't know how to answer.
It was good, right?
Don't make me answer. Yeah. Following her prompts on the other hand surely won't get me into trouble.
You're a pervert.
I wasn't talking about that.
It's a joke.
It's rather odd that she's now finding humor in all that situation. Given her reaction earlier, thankfully, she's not the one to hold a grudge. Even if I went in thinking she'd hurt herself.
But really, you're not a pervert, are you?
No, I'm not. Maybe she still is a little worked up after all. But then again, what girl would it be?
Good. I'm glad you're enjoying the club. I'm enjoying it too.
She sounds happy. Almost embarrassed even. But I can't really tell what sort of expression she's making. However, it's granted she feels this way. With spending that much time looking for members alone, I guess she's finally had a chance to live her dream in the club. Even though technically we'd still need another 3 members, hearing Kyoko's passion towards the club causes a guilt to wing through me. Choosing Naomi over her wasn't an easy choice, but I'm doing it to find out the truth behind it all. Not knowing Naomi's side of the story would just leave me questioning is all. She did say it's not what I think. There's something greater behind everything. It'd be better to actually address it.
Having another member, it's nice. Even if you're not interested in science. So, thank you.
Graciously thanking me, Kyoko trails off in silence. brief moment to reflect on her words. I think it's nice too. I wouldn't be doubting my choices if I didn't. It's not as if I'm not interested, it's just not, I'm just not that clever.
Neither am I. But science is everything to me.
I don't think I can come up with a bigger understatement. Still, I'm pretty interested.
What's the atomic mass of palladium then?
Questioning me seems like Kyoko has forgot that I just told her I'm not all that clever. I don't see how quizzing me proves whether or not I'm interested. I don't know. 40?
You had 2 digits right. But I'll forgive you this time.
2? What was it then?
106.4.
Oh. I wouldn't call that getting them right.
It's okay though. I'll just have to make you like science.
Cheerfully ending her sentence with a laugh, I can't help but feel a little bit fearful at that. I just want to be good friends with her, with science. For her to say it though, her claim of happiness from having fellow members certainly stands true. It seems something we can both share. Having something to do after school, being able to attend the club, it's nice. Maybe I can share her ambition.
Anyway, I have to go. Dinner's ready.
I was in the middle of doing work anyway, so it's alright, Kyoko. I'm not sure whether that sounded rude or not, but it is the truth. Close enough to it anyway. I was planning on
You're
working.
not doing work? But this is important.
The only reason I'm not doing it is because you called me. Anyway, I'll see you tomorrow, Kyoko. I wouldn't know whether I can hold true to those words at some point. I'm going to have to tell her I won't be attending the club. You should have told her just now, bro. That's why I am, if I'm that intent on going with Naomi.
Goodbye.
Now silent, the phone rests against my ear. I take a minute to reflect on our conversation. The evening sun seeps through my window, warming my cheeks ever so slightly. It's clear that the science club is close to Kyoko's heart. One small room and 2 people. Even if I didn't intend to join. After all, I only told her I'd try it out. But now I think we both feel like anything different would feel out of place. Resting my phone back against my desk and leaning back to my chair. As indifferent to doing work as I was before Kyoko's call. Going with Naomi still makes me feel slightly bad, but it's something I must do to get a better grasp of the situation. I don't want Kyoko to be sad, but Naomi had made it pretty apparent that I should listen to both of them. There must be something more behind it. She's willing to tell me. I can't exactly turn her down. The thought of Kyoko still lingers behind. I've only just joined the club. It would be easy to come up with an excuse. But feeling good about it will be a lot harder to come to terms with. A small issue like this shouldn't even matter. But somehow it does. She might be fine with it. I hope. Alright, we're on the next day. Tranquility greets me as I stumble upon the classroom in a state of almost pure silence. It's early, sure, but knowing my lack of empathy towards being here, it's a surprise to find the room almost empty. Without the science club, or moreover, if it wasn't for Kyoko, I wouldn't be able to find the will to arrive to class this far in advance. Despite being marginally earlier than normal, it's still enough to change to be noticeable. It has a clear effect on my actions. The culprit herself, of course, is one of the only other people in the present in the sparse morning event.
Good morning.
Environment. Good morning, Kyoko. That chirpy expression is enough to make me smile in accord. Thinking that we've gotten this used to each other is so little time is funny in fact itself. Given that, thinking back at my actions from yesterday really puts the scene into perspective. Fine, it's not what I think. Maybe for a thumbnail. Thank you.
I'm glad you understand.
Mulling over it, the feeling of guilt still resides within me as Kyoko stands before me with an ever so carefree smile. It's not as if it was an easy decision, but ultimately finding out about their past is something I just can't help but be interested in. It might be rude, it might cause trouble, but not hearing things from Naomi's perspective would just be ignoring the problem at hand. I wouldn't be giving her a chance. Then again, spending time with Kyoko is fun enough for me to still feel uneasy about it. Despite the events of the last club meeting, no matter what I do, I can't get her image out of my mind. I guess all guys are the same in the end.
Hey, what are you thinking about?
Nothing.
It just looked like you were zoning out. Come on, sit down.
It's probably best if I don't think about it. Leading with nothing less than a slight wave for response is another warm smile as I make my way over towards my desk. The law class is a good enough break to think over my situation with Kyoko and Naomi. I've made my decision. Sitting down and stretching, a selection of the morning's conversation makes their way to my ears. I'd assume it'd be like this if it sat behind Kyoko.
That's me. Did you hear?
Hear what?
Apparently, we have a new economics teacher.
The only reason we're even studying economics is because of the business-oriented country. Sounds as if I aspire to be an investor. I'm happy enough going about my life without any particular sense of direction. Being at school is enough as it is. Things like this make me wonder what Kyoko plans to do with her own life.
Really? I wonder what they're like.
Time drags forward as the class waits around for the new teacher. Perhaps they're just nervous about teaching a new class. But then again, it is their job. Soon enough, a suited man makes his way to their classes with a rather lax, but albeit still firm expression. This must be our new teacher by the looks of it. I'd be pretty concerned if the school had let a stranger make it this far into the school.
Hello, class. I hope you're all enjoying yourselves this morning. Unlike your other teachers, I aim to actually teach you something, even if you aren't that interested.
This dude's giving me the ick. He looks over at one of my classmates in the front room, sprawled over his desk for a quick nap. I know it's early and economics isn't really that interesting, but it's still worth paying attention. If I study hard enough, one day it might become the Kyoko economics. Turning to face the board, the new teacher grabs a stick of chalk on the desk and scrawls his name on the board. Being known as a teacher isn't in his best interest. Even the teachers have to introduce themselves.
You can call me Mr. Kabir, and I trust that you all will.
He must have heard what we call Mr. Yamamoto. Something along the lines of hermit crab. We are pretty shitty students.
Turn your textbooks to page 15. We'll get started with some questions.
This dude looks odds Darva. Hopefully I don't get picked. It might not be along the lines of knowing the structures of mitochondrion, but I still don't feel like answering. Haphazardly flicking through the pages of my book, I notice Mr. Kabir panning his eyes across the list of class. He doesn't know us, so he must be choosing someone random of the roster. Don't you do it. Don't you do it, Otts. Don't you do it, Otts. Don't you do it, Otts Darva. Please don't call on me. I don't want to do this gag again.
Ishikawa, answer the question at the bottom of the page.
Me? Sure.
You're the only Ishikawa in this class. Screaming from her seat with a smile on her face, Kyoko scans the book before her and finds a question to set upon her.
In a flea market, prices adjust to reconcile scarcity and desires.
Supply and demand. Kyoko's response is chirpy and a cute proclamation of something so mundane. Brings a smile to my face. My economics class can't be this cute.
That's right. Your previous teacher must have taught you well.
Or more likely, it's Kyoko. Either way, he doesn't seem like a bad guy. Might not enjoy economics, but I don't think I'll hate his lessons. Class quickly reaches the end after the lunch bell chimes. Throughout the room, having a class be this long is pretty unusual. But in the end, it was just pretty interesting. Lethargy spans across the room as those around me begin packing their bags, ready to leave for lunch.
Remember, class, sometimes in life we have to make tough decisions.
Yes, Otts. Yes, Otts Darwin.
Investing in stocks isn't easy. Trust me.
It sounds like he's had experience. Right now, I too face a pretty rough decision. I'm still rather uneasy about the choice I made yesterday. Siding with Naomi wasn't easy, but the thought of leaving Kyoku behind still bugs me. Maybe I should ask him for advice. People falling out of class with one by one approach Mr. Kabir's desk, making sure to check if Kyoko's left too. Surprised that she has. I thought she would have stayed behind. But she does have her own life after all. Mr. Kabir glances towards me as I now confront him. The two of us alone in the classroom. Sir, I had a question.
Ask ahead, but please keep it brief. I have to leave soon.
Okay. I was thinking about what you said about decisions.
Yes, decisions can be tough.
I've made a decision, but I'm not sure if I should go back on it. Can't help but be vague. He probably wouldn't be interested in what's going on in Kyoka and Naomi, but asking for his advice might prove to be useful.
I think you should just go with your guts. It might sound stupid, but if there is something inside you telling you what to do, listen to it.
That kind of makes sense. Okay, thank you, sir.
No problem. I hope you enjoyed today's class.
Not necessarily, but it wasn't that bad. Speaking of him too had given me a little sense of my situation as well. Mr. Kabir goes back to sorting the papers on his desk as I make my way into the corridor to head off to lunch, despite being pretty late now. In the end, I'll have to come to a decision eventually. The corridor is empty and I trace my way down to have a lunch in a slither of time. I should have time to get a small bite to eat. Afternoon classes come and end rather quickly, presenting me with the opportune moment to make my final choice. Either go with Kyoko now to the science club, or come up with an excuse so I can trundle off with Naomi to hear what she has to say. As seats around me become increasingly vacant, I too race from my seat, ready to make my decision. Find Naomi. At the end of it, I can't help but want to listen to what Naomi has to say. Even if we haven't been on great terms with each other, what with strangling to approach me as she did, it must be important to her. Going with Naomi will probably end up being the better decision. Hopefully. The issue of her relationship with Kyoko has bugged me since I met her. Understanding more about them both surely can't be a bad thing. There must be a reason behind Naomi's reactions, and I want to know what they are. Step by step, I make my way towards the front of the class, towards Kyoko's desk. Now is a better time than ever to tell her I won't be coming to the science club.
Hey, are you ready?
The face before me is a hard one to turn down, and almost a blissful smile, one from her from the heart. Having known her efforts to found the science club, leaving her alone like this hurts, but it's a decision I've made. Time to come up with an excuse. Sorry, Kyoko, I don't think I can come today. My family needs me at home. As expected, her exuberant smile fades away before me as a meaning behind me words quickly reaches her.
You won't be coming. That's okay. There's always tomorrow.
There is. But seeing her like this isn't something that's exactly pleasing. Nevertheless, I've made my choices. In the end, I'm not doing this so I can understand her. I'm doing this so I can understand her own feelings. It's apparent that Naomi must mean something to her. Whether it's good or bad, I'll just have to find out. I'll see you tomorrow.
Goodbye.
Oh, poor Kyoko. Turning back to her woeful voice, I head down to the corridor in a direction I haven't been in a while at this time. Towards the stairs, to leave. Before I make it, however, a dainty hand rests upon my shoulder.
Before you go, what's the atomic mass of palladium?
106.4? Responding with a smile, it appears that in the end, Kyoko trusts me enough to respect her interests. I'm still a member of the science club. Nothing will ever change that.
See you tomorrow.
Aw, Kyoko. Sometimes in life you have to make tough decisions. And that's going to be the end. We're going to end it on a cliffhanger. Because we're not going to talk about it. We're gonna find out our next episode what Naomi has to say. Thank you so much for watching this video. Oh wait. Save. Alright. Thank you again, like I said. And that's a wrap. Return. Oh no, wait, not return. Yeah, buddy. Alright, we're out of here, guys.